Hello everyone. In this video we will discuss rapidly varied flow. We all know that the non-uniform flow or varied flow is classified into two groups: gradually varied flow and rapidly varied flow. Gradually varied flow we covered in our previous lectures. Now we come to rapidly varied flow. When the depth of flow changes abruptly over a short length of the channel, then this kind of flow is classified as rapidly varied flow or RVF. Whereas in case of gradually varied flow, the depth of flow changes gradually over a long length of the channel. Okay, this is the difference between GVF and RVF. Now let's see the characteristics of RVF. In case of rapidly varied flow, the curvature of the flow is so pronounced that the pressure distribution cannot be assumed to be hydrostatic as in case of GVF. Boundary friction is comparatively small. The rapid variation in flow regime in case of rapidly varied flow often take place in a relatively short length of the channel. Accordingly, the boundary friction, which would play a primary role in a GVF, is comparatively small in case of RVF. And in most cases, this boundary friction is insignificant. Alpha and beta is far greater than unity and cannot be accurately determined because here in RVF there is a rapid change in the water flow area. Okay, that's why this alpha and beta is very greater than 1. Alpha and beta is equal to 1 indicate the uniform distribution of velocity, but when it is less than 1 or greater than 1, it indicates the non-uniformity in the distribution of velocity. Hydraulic jump is a classical example of rapidly varied flow. This figure represents the definition sketch of hydraulic jump. Hydraulic jump occurs when supercritical stream changes to subcritical stream. The supercritical stream jumps up to meet its alternate depth, and when this supercritical stream jumps, it generates considerable disturbances in the form of large scale eddies and reverse flow roller. And because of these disturbances, this supercritical stream cannot attain its full alternate depth after the jump. What do you mean by alternate depth? Alternate depths are the depths in which the specific energy is constant. So due to these disturbances, this depth y2 is not alternate to y1. This y2 is less than the alternate depth of y1 because of these disturbances. The section 1 from where the jump start is called toe of the jump, and section 2 where from where the flow becomes uniform is called end of the jump, and the distance between section 1 and section 2 is called the length of the jump. The eddies or roller that is formed during the jump entrains a considerable amount of air, and because of this the water surface has white, frothy and choppy appearance. The two depths at the ends of the jump are called sequent depths. Due to high turbulence and shear action of the roller, there is a considerable loss of energy in the jump between section 1 and 2. In view of the high energy loss, the nature of which is difficult to estimate, The energy equation cannot be applied to section 1 and 2 to relate the various flow parameters. In this situation, we use the momentum equation with suitable assumptions for the analysis of hydraulic jump. Now let's see the momentum equation formulation for the jump. This figure represents the definition sketch of a hydraulic jump in a prismatic channel of any arbitrary shape. The bed slope of the channel is theta. Section 1 and section 2 represent the start and end of the jump. The control volume under the study enclosing the jump is represented by dashed lines. The flow is considered to be steady. The forces acting on this control volume are P1, P2, weight of the fluid, and shear force or frictional force. P1 is the pressure force which act at the control surface at section 1 and is represented by P1 is equal to gamma 1 A1 Y1 prime cos theta, and P2 which act on this control surface at section 2 in the opposite direction of the flow is represented by gamma 2 here the unit weight of water will be same, gamma A2 Y2 prime cos theta. This expression we studied in the basic chapters of fluid mechanics, and the title of that chapter is hydrostatic forces. While we discussed the characteristic of rapidly varied flow, there we said in case of rapidly varied flow the hydrostatic pressure distribution cannot be assumed, but here the section 1 and section 2 we considered at the end of the jump. Okay, these sections are not within the jump. That's why in these sections this hydrostatic pressure distribution we can assume. Here gamma is the unit weight of water, A1 is the area of flow at section 1, Y1 prime is the depth of CG from the free water surface at section 1, theta is the bed slope of the channel. P2, here A2 is the area of flow at section 2 and Y2 prime is the depth of CG from the free water surface at section number 2. Okay, the weight of the force will act in the downward direction. Here W sin theta is the component of weight in the direction of flow. Fs will act at the boundary of the channel opposite to the direction of flow. From the Newton's second law, F is equal to ma. A is rate of change of velocity. This m we can take inside the derivative. So this expression represents the momentum equation, which states that the total force act on the system is equal to the rate of change of momentum. mv is the momentum. So dmv upon dt represent the rate of change of momentum. This dmv upon dt, rate of change of momentum, we can express by rho q beta 2 v2 minus beta 1 v1. Rho q beta 2 v2 minus beta 1 rho q v1. Okay, where rho is the mass density of fluid, q is the discharge, beta 2 and beta 1 are the momentum correction factor at section 2 and section 1. v2 and v1 are the velocity at section 2 and section 1 respectively. these terms represent the momentum flux, which is denoted by capital M. M2 represent the momentum flux in longitudinal direction that going out through the control surface, and M1 is the momentum flux in the longitudinal direction going in through the control surface. Okay, what is F here? F is the total force act on the control volume. And how many forces are acting here? P1 in the direction of flow, P2 opposite to the direction of flow, W sine theta in the direction of flow, and Fs opposite to the direction of flow. Okay, we have to consider only this direction, longitudinal direction to the control volume or in the direction of flow. So total forces are P1 minus P2 because this is opposite to the direction of flow, plus W sine theta minus Fs. These are the total forces acting on the system, that is equal to the rate of change of momentum, that is M2 minus M1. This is the generalized momentum equation that we will use for the analysis of hydraulic jump phenomena. Remember, in case of rapidly varied flow, the flow changes abruptly over a short length of the channel. That's why the term Fs we usually neglect. And for the channel in which we provide the bed slope very small, then the sine theta will be approximately equal to 0. That's why the W sine theta term will also become 0. So in that case, we usually ignore W sine theta term.